They finally did it in the dead of the night. Trump's got passed a bill that guts Medicaid, slashes food assistance, and hands billions to the ultra wealthy. This is not policy, it is cruelty, and it's happening right now in America.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so in today's episode, you're going to be looking at Americans' divided reaction on President Trump cutting off Medicare, Medicaid, and food stamps. While some of them feel like this is going to greatly affect the needy, the poor, children, and disabled, others feel like this is a good thing because they're being burdened to be paying for these services for those they consider to be lazy in society. So let's look at what we've prepared for you, and then we come back and talk about it. You can also let us know, do you think President Trump cutting off Medicare, Medicaid, and food stamps, do you think it's a good thing or it's not a good thing? Let us know in the comment section. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here. But for now, let's watch and then we come back and talk about it.
They finally did it in the dead of the night. Trump's got passed a bill that guts Medicaid, slashes food assistance, and hands billions to the ultra wealthy. This is not policy, it is cruelty, and it's happening right now in America. An update on what the is happening in Trump's America. They finally did it in the dead of the night. Trump's got passed a bill that guts Medicaid, slashes food assistance, and hands billions to the ultra wealthy. This is not policy, it is cruelty, and it's happening right now in America. The House passed Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill by a single vote, 215 to 214 after an all-night session. This includes nearly $800 billion in Medicaid cuts, $300 billion from food stamps, and imposes strict work requirements that could strip healthcare from millions of Americans. And do you want to know who will be getting hit the hardest with this? The low-income families, disabled people, and children. The Congressional Budget Office estimates 8.6 million people will lose health coverage and 3 million will lose their SNAP benefits. Meanwhile, the richest Americans get massive tax breaks, including new deductions for tips, overtime, and car loan interest. This is Trump's legacy: cruelty as policy, suffering as strategy. He personally pressured Republicans to pass the bill, overriding internal dissent, and now millions of Americans are at risk, all to fund tax cuts for the fucking wealthy. If this is what pro-life looks like, I want absolutely no part of it. Like, comment, and share if you are tired of being treated as disposable collateral.
Okay, so I was looking at a YouTube video a while ago, and they said that the Trump administration is going to crack down on what people can buy with food stamps, and also they're going to crack down on the budget. I'm going to say this. This is my opinion, and I ain't finna cut nobody's feelings and nothing in this. If you are disabled, meaning that you are unable to work, you're on SSI or whatever, you are in poverty level, you deserve to get food stamps or some kind of supplement to your income so that you can help buy food, because food is high. Number two, if you're one of these girls out here that's having babies every year or every 2 years and say that you are building a family and you are still classified as at the poverty level, meaning that you are getting federal assistance for your housing, meaning hoods, you are getting child support, you're getting child care vouchers and all of that shit so your kids can actually go to school. You're getting $1,000 to $1,500 a month in federal food stamps so that you can feed your kids, and you lay around on your ass and on your back every day and suck and fuck and keep mess up and stroll on the internet on your free Wi-Fi. I want you to know that I don't give a damn. And they say, oh, well, what about the children? These people didn't even care about their own children. For one, you're already poor. You're already in poverty. Why do you keep on having kids? They have free child family planning. They have free birth control, free condoms at the health department, and y'all still keep having babies so y'all can lock down a man or so y'all can stay on federal assistance. I don't give a motherfucker if they cut you down to $50 a month. Your ass should work 4 jobs to feed them kids. That'll stop your ass from having all them children knowing you can't fucking feed them. And they say, well, if they give us food stamps, they should not be able to tell us what to buy with that. And my children ain't going to eat that. Your children have been programmed to eat junk because you don't cook. Your children have been programmed to go in there and eat Hot Pockets for breakfast and Cheerios and sweet cereal and all that bullshit that's later on going to give them heart disease and diabetes. And then you want to know why they act like they ain't in their right mind jumping all over, because it's the proper foods that you're not giving your kids. If you're going to get federal assistance, meaning that you're going to get money from the government, meaning the taxpayers' money, they should have a choice in what you are feeding your family. And if you don't want to do that, then you should get off your lazy ass and get you a job. That's my opinion. Don't shoot the messenger.
Breaking news out of Washington, D.C., and this one is a game changer, guys. President Trump just dropped a legislative bombshell that has working class Americans cheering in the streets and welfare abusers absolutely panicking. In a stunning double move that nobody saw coming, Trump is officially abolishing federal taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security, while at the same time simultaneously targeting the welfare lifestyle that has been draining the system for decades. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about probably the biggest pro-worker tax overhaul in U.S. history and the most aggressive welfare reform plan that we've seen in at least a generation. This really isn't about slashing benefits for the needy. This is more about cutting off the free ride for those who refuse to work while living off of your taxpayer dollars. Basically, Trump's trying to get rid of the freeloaders. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys how President Trump's big, beautiful bill is putting thousands of dollars back into the pockets of working class Americans, why nearly 50% of the HUD subsidies and subsidized households have zero workers in them, and how this bill could wipe out generational dependency once and for all. So stick with me, guys, because in just a minute, I'm going to reveal the clause that's in this bill that the media refuses to talk about. This is the one that could cut off millions from Medicaid benefits, and you're going to be shocked who it actually targets. Now, guys, this is not just about tax policy. This is a cultural reset, and I'm just getting started. By the way, if you guys appreciate the content, please take a second, hit the like button for the video, and let me know where you guys are watching the show from. Are you at home? Are you at work? Are you in the car? Where are you at? So let's get started with probably the biggest win working class Americans have seen in decades. Now, guys, this is something that the media is just not going to celebrate. They're not going to celebrate this because they're so anti-Trump, it's ridiculous. But every server, every Uber driver, every tipped worker in America will absolutely be thanking Trump for this. For the first time in modern U.S. history, guys, tips are no longer taps. President Trump's new bill wipes out federal income tax on tipped wages, meaning if you work in a restaurant, and let me know if you've ever worked in a restaurant. I've worked in, oh my God, I probably worked in like 6 different restaurants. Steak and Shake and McDonald's. Where else did I work? Uncle Vito's. Man, I tried to get a job at Chick-fil-A, but they wouldn't hire me. I don't know why. Anyway, if you've ever worked in a restaurant, behind a bar, in a salon, or, for a rideshare service, Uber, Lyft, your hard-earned tips now belong to you, not the IRS. So this is more than a policy change. This is economic justice for millions of people who have been punished simply for working.
For some of y'all people to be acting so crazy that, oh my goodness, Trump got rid of let's pause all federal funding. Oh, you ain't gonna get your food stamps no more. Your public housing's not gonna be paid. Oh my God, this is what y'all voted for. This is what you voted for. For me to watch that darn press conference today, and they said that nothing about the American people's day-to-day life is going to be affected. Not food stamps, not housing, not Medicare.
The U.S. House
Medicaid,
just passed Trump's new tax bill, saving nearly $1 trillion by cutting Medicaid and food stamps. Who does that affect? Poorer individuals, instead of coming up with alternative solutions like taxing billionaires higher or taxing religious organizations that don't pay any taxes and they sell an invisible product. Yes, they should be paying higher taxes. We're going to hurt the poor. Medicaid and food stamps are primarily for low-income individuals and families, and it's going to hurt children, pregnant women, the elderly, people who need it the most. And it particularly affects racial minorities, people in rural and urban low-income communities, and unemployed and underemployed individuals, people who have jobs but just can't make enough. It's sad that this is the route we choose to go, where we would rather hurt the poorest people in our country instead of going after the people who have the most.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the episode we just played you, yeah? You know, I do feel like I understand the people who are saying that it's a good thing that the president cut off all this benefit, because according to them, they work so hard to have to help the government to take care of those who do not. And there's that lady who was talking about if you're poor, don't give birth to a lot of kids. And I feel like I do kind of understand where she's coming from, because like, okay, you need to have a plan when you're giving birth. When you bring people into this world, you need to be able to take care of them. And if you're not able to take care of them, why should you keep, I don't mean to insult anyone, but why should you keep giving birth to more human beings and they become a burden to society, you know? And I did a little research on Google about this issue, and I looked at, okay, my main question was, where was this Medicaid funding coming from? Where was the funding for food stamps coming from? And I found out that they're taxing Americans in order for them to get the funding to take care of the people in society who cannot afford things. And I do feel bad that, okay, I don't know, but you guys can clarify this for me. Apparently, people were being even taxed on tips. I feel like people really work so hard in order to earn what they have. And if you have to even be taxed for the tip, like somebody appreciates your services, you had to be there in order for you to treat people well so that you can earn that tip, you know. So I would feel kind of the same if you had to have money taken out of your pocket in order to be put into, or to be routed into taking care of other people, because you work so hard for it, you know. Right. And also, for those who are not supporting what Trump has done, their biggest reasoning, some of them, was that the rich people are receiving a big tax cut. You know, they're not being taxed half as much as how poor people and middle-income families are being taxed. And their argument was, instead of cutting off funding for food stamps and stuff like that, they should instead add more taxes to the rich in order for the programs to still stay intact. And also another thing that I heard that was being spoken a lot about here, so a big argument was brought forth that the president cutting off all this help is going to help combat fraud in the system. It's going to help combat waste and abuse in the federal programs, which I do agree, although I do also feel like there are people who genuinely need this help. And I feel like for most of our speakers who are not in support of this, that is what they were trying to communicate. What will happen to the innocent children who need the help, the innocent families that genuinely cannot afford to live on their own without all these programs that do help them? Because for Medicare, I do understand, and Medicaid, it provides the help with hospital bills people need, especially from low-income families. This is what enables them to get treatment. You know, so when this is cut, I feel like a lot of people are going to suffer for it. And there's somebody who was talking about, I think there's a guy who mentioned about this being a good thing because it's gonna be cutting off generational dependency. If you view it from his point of view, I do get what he's saying, because while you continue giving people or handing out help, there are those group of people who really get comfortable into being offered help, so they don't really push themselves as much. It's the same thing that once they were saying about Africa, right? People used to say, if you keep sending help to Africa, how do you expect them to stand on their own? And I feel like with that same mentality, the speakers today who are in support, that is what they're trying to communicate, you know? Right. And also, the people they say that would be affected the most, the veterans, and most especially the people living with disabilities. I do feel like those are especially a group of people who they should be put into special consideration when such bills are being passed, because with all honesty, such people, especially the people who are living with types of disabilities. These are people who cannot go out there and fend for themselves. And I do feel like things like food stamps and Medicare, they did benefit a lot from it, and it helped them a lot. Yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen, guys. So maybe you tell us what you think about this. Do you think it's a good thing that the president is cutting off all these benefits, or do you think it's a bad thing? I feel like it's there's a flip side to, it's like a coin with different sides. There's gonna be a benefit to this, and there's gonna be a disadvantage to this. There's gonna be those ones who are going to benefit greatly. There's gonna be those ones who are gonna be disadvantaged greatly, and there's also gonna be those ones who, like, literally it's not going to make a difference in their lives. You know, they're not going to feel that situation. So let us know what you think about this episode, because we'd like to hear from you, and we'll catch you on our next episode.